Hello, this is Matt on the Moon Lambo channel. Got a few things to discuss in this very latest Moon Lambo Hot Jam, including an article from Financial Times. Here's the headline. SEC head Gary Gensler under fire over crypto regulation. Well, I'll tell you what, not only is he under fire, I think he should be fired. Yes, indeed, SEC Supreme Leader Kim Jong-Gary should definitely be fired because he is not protecting investors. He's just interested in an absolute power grab. He just wants to rule over everything crypto, and not just crypto. I made a video just the other day where I highlighted that. I'm not going to talk about that as much in this video, but he basically just wants the SEC to rule as much of planet Earth as possible. That's what it looks like to me. And so before I forget, I wanted to say I came across this article thanks to my fellow XRP YouTuber James Rule XRP, and he said the following: "Fire Gary Gensler." Yes, I said it. Fire Gary. And so there you go. We all feel the same, James Rule XRP. It's perfectly okay. And then I also want to talk a bit about the Spark token. I've got a little bit of an update actually from Flare Networks regarding the launch of that, and also a report of new support for the Songbird token. So a bit to discuss here, but I do want to be clear at the outset, I do not have a legal or financial background of any kind. I am not offering legal or financial advice, and you definitely should not buy or sell anything because of anything that I say or write. I'm just an enthusiast who enjoys making YouTube videos about crypto-related topics, but just as a hobby and just for fun. So I'm going to start with this article from the Financial Times, and I actually printed this thing up so it's not displaying on the screen right here. But I'm just going to cover a few select parts of it, and then I'm going to jump into the stuff about the Spark token and Songbird here. But yeah, so anyway, this piece titled SEC head Gary Gensler under fire over crypto regulation. A senior Republican has hit out at Gary Gensler, the chair of the Securities and Exchange Commission, over his attempts to regulate cryptocurrencies as its defenders increase their opposition to several regulatory proposals. Now, Tom Emmer, a representative from Minnesota and co-chair of a group of lawmakers interested in blockchain, said he believed Gensler was overstepping his authority with his attempts to expand the SEC's role in regulating cryptocurrencies. Now, Emmer's intervention is part of a broader move by supporters of cryptocurrencies to push back against Democrat-led attempts to increase oversight of the $2 trillion market. And here's a quote: "All regulators want more jurisdiction, and I can't fault them for that," end quote, Emmer said in an interview with the Financial Times. But here's another quote from him. "But I think Gary Gensler's vision is much broader, and frankly, because of it, he's having a negative impact, and potentially will have a really negative impact on retail investors and opportunities out there that entrepreneurs and innovators might provide," end quote. Yeah, and that's something that I've been talking about on this channel for the longest damn time. On top of the fact, I just said this a minute ago, the idea that Gary Gensler is clearly not looking out for investors. That's obvious, right? Not providing a clear path forward, not interested in capital formation within the United States in this asset class has just been blowing up in a very positive way in terms of adoption and price action. He's not pushing for that. He just wants his piece here. But you see, it's just incredibly damaging. And so that's why, again, the quote here. "But I think Gary Gensler's vision is much broader, and frankly, because of it, he's having a negative impact and potentially will have a really big negative impact on retail investors and opportunities out there that entrepreneurs and innovators might provide." And so, where's the innovation occurring? Because it's still going to unfold. It's just not in the United States. And so then they say here, the trading in cryptocurrencies and crypto-related products has rocketed in recent years, helping crypto exchange platforms such as Coinbase achieve valuations of tens of billions of dollars. But as investment in the area has increased, so has regulatory scrutiny, with regulators warning about the risk of cryptocurrencies being used to carry out fraud and money laundering. By the way, is it not amazing that we're still hearing that argument from any human in the year 2021? Because you can think back to the internet. Do you guys realize the disgusting stuff that the internet was used for in its earliest days? Go back to the mid-90s. I'm not even going to say, but just think of the worst things that are on the internet, and that's what it was largely used for in the earliest of days. It really was. So should we have just thrown it away? And interestingly enough, it's not a perfect parallel to crypto, because even from the beginning, like it's not as though that was the vast majority of transactions on any given blockchain, Bitcoin or otherwise. It's not like they were the vast majority were used for illicit purposes. Yeah, there's some of that, and there always will be. But if you were a bad person, you want to engage in nefarious activities, you'd be better off just utilizing cash, like the United States dollar, or pick your fiat of choice. You'd be much better off with that. Much harder to track. But for instance, the XRP ledger and Bitcoin blockchain, like they're public, so you can piece together where things are going, right? Anyway, Gensler told Congress on Tuesday that he wanted crypto platforms to be registered with the SEC, adding, quote, "Right now investors don't have the benefit of that basic bargain that we protect people against fraud and manipulation. People are going to get hurt," Emmer told the Financial Times. I disagree with Gensler strenuously when he suggests that almost all of these crypto products are securities. I think the vast majority of cryptocurrency offerings or related offerings are actually currencies or commodities. The SEC is not involved. Yeah, that could not be more obvious. I want Gary Gensler to explain why he said 3 years ago that about 75%, that's the number percentage he threw out, 75% of cryptocurrencies not securities. How do you go from that to stating that almost 100% of them in every ICO he's ever seen? How do you go from that to everything now is a security? And it just happens to now fall under the SEC's purview now that he's in charge, and it's in his best interest and for his legacy. How convenient is that for him, right? And then check this out. If the SEC were to deem one of these coins a security, the value of that token would plummet. How about that? And then the SEC likes to pretend like it was not their fault. We're just the little SEC protecting the investors. Not our fault XRP plummeted. Yeah, right. Which is, and I would have been okay with the SEC, not that I would have said that they were right, but I would have been much more okay with them if they wanted to go after Ripple, claiming that early sales of XRP were investment contracts, those early transactions, but then not state that XRP today is a security. If they just would have come out and also clarified, hey, it's not the underlying asset, I would have been okay with that. Not that I would have said that they were right about what they're going after Ripple, but I would have been much more okay with that than what they've been doing right here, right now. This is just a cash and power grab, right? Anyway, Peace continues. There we go. Here we go. If the SEC, that's where I left off. I'll just read it again so I have better flow. If the SEC were to deem one of these coins a security, the value of that token would plummet, and those retail investors would be seriously hurt. That's directly the opposite of his mission and authority. Thank you for saying that. It's good to hear people in positions of power actually acknowledge that. And then last month, Coinbase dropped a plan to launch a new digital asset lending product known as Lend after the SEC warned it would take legal action against such a move. Other defenders of cryptocurrencies have also begun to push back, and Hester Peirce, one of two Republicans on the SEC, told the Financial Times earlier this year that she was worried that Gensler would stymie innovation with his push for new regulation. Isn't that always the case, though? I think regulation is the friend of entrepreneurs here. I'm not saying there's no regulation needed, but I'm more of the mindset we just need clarity around existing regulation. Just add a little bit of policy here and there, and you're most of the way there. Just go through what constitutes a common enterprise. How decentralized does something have to be for it to no longer satisfy that one prong of the Howey test? And we're pretty well there. Either way, things continue to develop around the XRP ecosystem and also Flare's efforts, which leads me to this next headlines from You Today. Flare's Songbird airdrop now supported by one more Tier 1 exchange. You'll love to see it. SGB, a core native asset of Flare's Canary network, Songbird will be distributed between the clients of the large centralized exchange. According to the official announcement shared by MEXC Global Cryptocurrencies Exchange, it will support the airdrop of SGB tokens to XRP holders. Which really, any cryptocurrency exchange that promised the Spark token, they better damn well support the SGB airdrop, because at some point enough time will have passed where people in the community, they're going to start putting pressure on the exchanges, and I'll be a voice for that also. But I still think the right thing is going to be done. I don't know the inside baseball reasons, that maybe there's just Maybe there's fair technological reasons as to why it's taking them so long. But the biggest problem I have, even if that's the case, is the lack of communication from the vast majority of the exchanges out there. If they could just communicate, then it wouldn't be as big of a deal anyway. But they still need to figure this all out. And then an update from the Flare networks. There's somebody on Twitter here who tagged Hugo Fillion, who is the creator. He's a co-founder and CEO of Flare, and said, any update on the Flare network Spark airdrop? It seems to have gone silent since Songbird, and receiving it would really benefit those poor souls whose Songbird tokens were hijacked by the exchanges they trusted. Well, hold on. Not hijack. Let's let them talk. Look, I'm kind of like on the fence here a little bit. I don't want to go so far as to claim that that's a different realm. Hijack, no, we're taking the Songbird tokens. They're for us, and you're never going to have them. That's too far. But I get it. I understand why this individual has grief, so I'm not taking away from that. I don't like it either. I just acknowledged a moment ago, yeah, these exchanges, they should be more open and honest and transparent. But I don't think there's going to be a single exchange on the planet that actually hijacks Songbird tokens. Does anybody really think that? Or is it more like, I'm not happy with this and I'm strongly wording something? In which case, if that's the case, I can understand why somebody would be upset and strongly word something, but I'm just trying to take the emotion out of it for me right here and just be like, I get it, but I don't think anybody's actually going to steal a bunch of Songbird tokens. It'd be the end of them, right? Can you think how big the XRP community is and the traders, the trust broken there? It would harm their business so much. And so to what end would that even make sense? But anyway, the Flare Networks actually did jump in here. And this is just from earlier today, this morning. And they wrote the following. Flare will launch after testing of the 3 core protocols, FTSO, State Connector, and F Assets on Songbird. So there you go. Songbird, which is now live. It's an actual live blockchain, and its native asset, SGB, it is being traded on open exchanges. It's being tested in this environment, and it won't take, we don't have a timeline exactly, but it's not going to take that much longer, and eventually we will get news. It's going to be launched. It's not like the Spark token will no longer be launched, but this is frequently the case when it comes to new software in general. How many times is there a new video game or something that's going to launch in so-and-so quarter of this year, and then a year or two later, then it comes out? It's you're doing your best to anticipate what it's going to take in terms of man hours to develop something, but you don't know the struggles you're going to encounter along the way. So people are making their best guesses, and maybe it's a little bit too ambitious, but they're operating in good faith here. I guess they could have just under-promised and over-delivered, but whatever, as long as they're being intellectually honest and there's nothing shady here, I'm cool with it. I don't mind it. And then, because look, I just want it to work when it's launched, okay? I don't want any sort of crippling technological defeat to occur. So I'm just take the time, make sure it works, and we're good to go, which is another reason that I'm glad there's this Canary network. And then somebody named Holo responded to Flare after they wrote that and wrote the following. If you don't hurry up and release mainnet this bull cycle, you'll be waiting another 4 years for volume, and by then, no one will remember Flare. There will be another 1,000 competitors in this space. So I'm just going to, I love diversity of thought, and so I'm glad that Holo publicly shared how they feel here. I respectfully disagree. I don't think that's the case. I'd say regardless of price action and liquidity, developers, they're going to build on top of whatever technology they think makes the most sense to build on top of. So you can think about even during this last bull market, or bear market rather, as XRP plummeted to as low as 11 cents, and think about the price action in 2018 and 2019 and how scary it was, trending downward forever. The developers, think about XRPL Labs, for example. Do you think that did anything to hinder their work building on top of the XRP ledger? Well, no, of course not. It didn't. And so that will be the same here. Regardless of price or this or that, I'm telling you, people will flock to the technology that makes the most sense. And so even if it's launched during the bear market, which there's no indication it will, it's probably going to come out sooner than later, probably this year. Well, assuming, even if it didn't though, I'm certainly of the mindset that if it's useful, there will be developers building on top of it. And also think about this too. All of us XRP holders, we're still going to get our Spark tokens, even if we got them during the bear market, if there were that big of a delay, and they'll end up on the market. And so even if the price is trending downward at that point, somebody's going to buy them, and then the market still moves in tandem and will rebound. And so that part comes back too. But you got to understand that in terms of the liquidity and the price action for the Spark token is separate from the activity of the developers building on top of the blockchain right now, right? And so that's just how I see it. Anybody can disagree with me, and that's perfectly fine. Just articulate your case in the comment section below, but that's how I'm looking at it. So anyway, it's all coming. Everything is good. Other than SEC Supreme Leader Kim Jong-Gary, everything is right in the world. We're fine. I'm not a financial advisor. You should not buy or sell anything because of anything that I say or write. That would be a very, very, very bad idea. Until next time, to the moon, Lambo.